Hello, welcome back to another devlog. Wow, it's been less than 4 months since the last one? Weird. I'm gonna try to post a little more consistent updates of the game. I really appreciate all of the kind, nice feedback on the last devlog. So I just wanted to try to be a little bit better about posting these more often. But in this devlog, I'm going to talk about how I overhauled the main player character in my game, actually, that I should be doing, and I decided it was finally time. So if you're new here, I am working on a game that I am branding as a cozy psychological horror game. Yes, I know those genres don't go together. But in this game, you return to an abandoned game project where the NPCs have not stopped building on the game since you left it. And it is up to you to help the NPCs rebuild the game, fix things that are broken, settle some conflicts, bunch of stuff. The gameplay is akin to more of an Animal Crossing Stardew Valley type game with a focus on the community and building up the game with the NPCs. I have a couple other devlogs where I talk a little bit more in depth of what I've been doing for creating the gameplay for this game. But in this one, I just want to talk about how I redid my main player character. So let's rewind a bit. When I first started the game, the player character wasn't actually anything more than just a basic cube. It was just a placeholder that I had while I focused on building the basic movement controls. I actually started with the idea of having the player character evolve throughout the game, but I didn't really feel like that idea was worth putting in. It didn't really add anything to the gameplay. So after about a month, I decided it was time to give the character a face, or at least some sort of identity. And that's when I designed this little bald, very neutral, almost unsettling figure. The plan was always to make the main character customizable. So that's why the main character started off as this very just neutral character. I was basically gonna give this to the player in the beginning and then tell them, hey, you can customize it later. But at the time, I had no idea how to build or even set up a character customization system. So I kept the character looking really basic all these years because honestly, I didn't have a solid plan for character customization. The original character was actually just one solid sprite with really basic animations, so forward, back, left, right. And for the longest time, the character only had one idle animation where they were facing forward, just staring straight at the player. A little unsettling. You can really notice this in the screenshots for the Steam page, in which the character is in the exact same position the whole time, just staring straight ahead at you. And then as the game grew and I added in new features for the gameplay, I realized the character would need animations for everything, swinging tools, eating, sitting. But creating animations for every single action for the character and then also creating different ones I was able to swap out for the customization was gonna be a massive task. So first thing I did was kind of experiment with a couple different approaches to how I could even just set up the player in a way that they could possibly be customizable. So the solution that I landed on was breaking the character into pieces. Each part of the body, the legs, arms, head, even shoes, would be its own separate piece. That way I could swap out the parts to create a fully customizable character. So now each piece is its own game object with its own animations. And I have a script that keeps track of the animations and just switches them automatically as the character moves. I actually don't use any animation transitions at all. Everything is just handled by the script. So I had all of this set up for the old player character. However, the character was too boxy in the way that I drew it. So it looked kind of cursed every time I tried to add customizable options to it. Okay, so now it's time for me to figure out how to redo the main character. I knew that I wanted them to have a different look. I wanted to be able to actually swap out the pieces of the character and not have it look terrifying. And I also wanted to make them a little bit taller because for some reason the old character couldn't see over a bunch of the sprites in the game that I drew. I wasn't sure if I wanted to make the new character a strange creature like all of the other NPCs and stuff in the game, or if I wanted to just stick with a human, but I chose to keep the main character human because I feel like it creates a really good contrast to the world and just like all its weird little creatures. And I don't know, maybe it's just more relatable for the player as well. Or maybe this guy's more relatable, I don't know. So I redrew the main character completely from scratch. I wanted them to just look less boxy, generally just be drawn better. And then I gave them that little growth spurt to make it so that when they interacted with the world, their proportions just fit a little better with the environment. And now we can actually see over the counters. So with the new design of the character in place, I wanted to make creating the animations easier. So when I drew the character, I drew them with the intention of having all of the sprites split up into those different body parts like I mentioned. And then I was like, there has to be a way to make creating these animations in Unity easier. Because usually what I would have to do is I would have to create animations for every single body part and every single just type of animation action that the player can do as well. And as, like I said, the character got more and more animations, this ended up just being a ton of animations that I had to create. So I built a script that basically takes the entire sprite sheet and then automatically creates all of the animations for me. So each row of the image is a different body part, and then each column is associated with a different action that the player can do, like walking forward, eating, and then the script lets me just select the sprite sheet that I want, set the animation speed for the animations because some of them are more frames or less frames than each other. And then pretty much it just takes the entire sprite sheet, goes through all of the rows and columns, and will correctly create the animations that I need. And then I can change the index here, and that's what I use to reference in my character customization script when I'm swapping out the different pieces of the character to create that customizability. So once the sprites are created, I basically can just drag them into the animation controller, which is divided into layers for each body part, and then the script takes care of the rest. That's all I have to do. It will automatically be able to switch between the body parts depending on what customization we have set for the player. So the script saves me so much time instead of having to manually create each animation. The script basically just organizes all of the pieces into animations based on the actions for me. So this means I can add in new customizable options for the character by just creating them all in the sprite sheet and then just importing that right into the game directly. I also quickly just set up a little proof of concept of trying to swap out the sprites, so now you can interact with this dresser and then change out your looks for the character. Right now there's only like 2 options and all of my clothing is a little ugly because I was just trying to get this to work. I've redone all of the animations that I had originally, and I'm really happy with where the main character is now. The animations look cleaner. It feels like a really big step towards making the game more polished. I've gotten better at art over the years, but animation is still a pretty big challenge for me. That being said, I recognize that the main character is one of the most important parts of the game. This is the thing that you're always looking at, and I want players to be able to, see themselves in the game and play how they want to play. A lot of, the appeal and the fun I feel like in this game is going to be that you can really kind of make it whatever you want. It's kind of in the hands of the player to play the game the way that they want to play. So I will have to eventually probably redo the Steam page and trailer with our new little character. So because we're gonna be saying goodbye to this guy. He will always be remembered in the game somewhere though, don't worry. The other thing too I wanted to mention was I do kind of want to make one more little store where you can maybe buy your clothing and maybe also make a new NPC associated with that, but I haven't had any ideas or inspiration behind what I want that building or that character to look like, so we'll see, maybe in the next devlog. But that is it for this devlog. It's been a journey redesigning the main character and refining the customization, and there's still a lot to do. But the next thing I've been working on is actually diving back into the NPC system, which has been interesting. So stay tuned for that. It's a lot of weird little bugs, but we're gonna fix them. So yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback and comments and whatnot. But I'll see you in the next devlog.